Greetings and welcome to another episode of the Scale Gap podcast. My name is Valerio, but you might know me as Stallion. And as usual, besides me, it is Persian. Persian, how are you?
What up, man? I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. And this is a special one because this is the first ever episode where we have a guest. And some of you might know, that before this podcast, I was in another podcast. And in that podcast, there was another fella. And his name was Nelly, and he was kind of bored. Nelly, how's it going, dude? Welcome.
Oh, this is going to be the highest viewed episode ever. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited too, because this is super weird. This is two worlds colliding for me, because we used to do this weekly. Persian had no idea. Obviously, he didn't listen to that, but
yeah, for like a year, right? 2 years.
Well, I was in that. You dipped hella early. And for bigger and better things, but I think I was in that thing for like 2-3 years. You were there for 2, maybe 1.5. But yeah, today the plan is first we need to focus a little bit around Nelly, because I think a lot of people only know you now as Keemstar's prodigal.
That's true. Yeah, this is the unfortunate reality I live in. Yeah.
So like, why don't you tell them? Because I know who you are, but why don't you tell the people who you are? What do you do? Why are you here?
Why am I here? You asked me to come here. That's the number one thing. What am I doing?
That is.
Oh, well, I started out making all kinds of weird content, from like really poor, I don't know, like Road to Glory series that no one was watching, even though I thought at the time like the ideas I was doing were like revolutionary. I remember in like FIFA 16, I was doing crazy challenges. Like I was playing with one hand. I was playing like one where like I put my hands in ice and then I'd play a game after. Like I was just trying to do anything that was remotely different from what was on the scene, but like no one cares about that. Just get to the packs. So then I kind of moved into random like comedy videos, like funny like Reddit, I don't know, EA AIDS, whatever you want to call it, videos. And then I've done all kinds of random stuff, from like Fortnite sketch videos to like cool drone videos to whatever like I want to do now. I kind of do it. But the kind of FIFA news is what everyone loves, so I've been doing that weekly for the past, I don't know, like 7-8 months.
Fair enough. Persian, at what point were you watching Persian? I mean, Nelly at this point, or have you only found out about him ever since the Nelly news era?
No, I got you would link me videos of him sometimes, like the video with like the captcha thing, right?
Yeah,
I saw that one. That was hilarious, by the way. Now you say though that people don't care and say that they care about packs and shit, but didn't KSI started with like comedic style videos? Like that's how he got big.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
like the road to Division 1. Like I loved watching KSI back in the day because that was like really original content. So to be fair, the content kind of changed throughout the years. Like back in the day, FIFA didn't really have it. It didn't start as a pack crazy like game, right? It started like as a normal casual game, and packs were a part of it. And as time continued, like it got worse and worse with the whole pay to win aspect of it. But
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Good.
The difference in that time was like there just wasn't enough. Like there wasn't that much competition, and he was already slowly developing an audience. And me trying to go for something original with like 7 subscribers and like 2,000 other FIFA YouTubers is very different than a guy that was just like, he was one of 6 people that had an Elgato or whatever to record. So, but the content has changed so much. Yeah,
it wasn't necessarily like a shot towards you or anything. I was just saying like the content, like what people want, changed throughout the year. So if you would have started back then, I would have given you a way bigger chance of like being able to succeed in that type of content, because it's actually really funny. Like it's really funny
for sure. So, but YouTube is just like, at this point, YouTube is very simple. It's just trying different things and seeing what sticks. It's not, I think it hasn't changed much. It's just what kind of content works now is very different than what worked 5-10 years ago or whatever.
Sure.
It's rough though, because not everyone will know the effort that Nelly puts behind his videos. Like we'll have like loads of WhatsApp audio messages, and he's just like thinking out loud to me, and like I know a lot of his stuff he's trying to do already now behind the scenes. I think my favorite Nelly series, and I tell him this, is the Bob Ross ones. So I had no idea who Bob Ross was before Nelly did the SPC Bob Ross variation of packs. And then now every now and then, if I can't sleep, I'll just put a Bob Ross video on. So that's thanks to Nelly. And then the Nelly versions of Bob Ross are weirdly soothing. So if you guys haven't checked those out, I recommend doing so. And then the last one is like a great combination of like soothing, and then it just ends with the weirdest random joke ever. So 100%, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's the weirdest comment, but I'll take it. Yeah.
But it's the reason why it's so rough is because nowadays, not only do you need bangers like the capture video, right? But every time you have a banger, like such a small percentage of those people stick, right? So it's like you need banger after banger after banger, and then mix the bangers with like what's hot, I guess. So it's rough.
It's not always. The other thing is, it's not content that receive the most effort that gets rewarded as well. Like these news videos are not that much effort, but they're the best videos in every single category, by views, by watch time, by audience, like comments, by likes, whatever you want to call it. They're not that much effort. I've spent 20, 30 hours on a video and like no one's seen it. So that's the real harsh reality of YouTube. Sometimes effort I don't think gets rewarded.
Drama sells, man.
Yeah.
FIFA drama, man. Speaking of FIFA drama, I wanted to ask you how much of, because like obviously every week you're just like putting out news. How much of that news do you, and this maybe you don't have to answer this if you feel like this ruins your image as a reporter.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. What have I cared about my image, bro? Stop
How much do you credit yourself to like the news, or how many minions you have out there that are literally blessing you in your DMs and your mentions with all the gossip and stuff?
You know what? It started out really slow where I had to find almost every single like tweet, every single screenshot, and I got better with like taking videos myself and all this. But now like so many people watch like Nelly News, my job is like so much easier, and I honestly got to thank everyone for that. People that slide in my DMs just with like a random egg account, you guys are the best. You guys are the bloodline of Nelly News. Otherwise, I'd spend like 10 hours on Twitter just finding half these stories.
It's true, man. Even myself, sometimes I'm like, I just stay out of the loop because sometimes I just don't care, because I really don't see right now, at least, because you cover a lot of like esports drama, because I feel like right now that's where most of it is, from Kurt to bans to this to that. And like we talk about it briefly on most podcasts as well, because about the future of FIFA. So, and Persia and I talk about this a lot as well. So that's why this one's interesting, because maybe you were a hardcore at some point, but at this stage, you're definitely feel like a casual. So
yeah, 100%.
I guess we can start with
games this year.
How many?
I've played 60 games this year total.
Oh, that's lovely.
It's literally nothing. It's been the best year of my life. It's been great.
Definitely casual. So,
yeah. So, like, what do you feel is the future of FIFA for you? And like, because you're obviously doing news on that. So, are you just banking on the fact that right now it's like going crazy, or are you thinking it's going to be crazy forever? So this is just easy views for me forever. Where do you see this scene going?
I think you know me pretty well at this point. I'm never really happy and content with anything. So I'm always trying to think of the next thing. The videos are doing great, and like there's always that constant fear that like, man, what if just like nothing happens this week, and then next week, and then the following week? Like what if just like the next year just EA cleans up their act, and like pretty much I'd have nothing to report. But that's not obviously that's not going to happen. So I'm always thinking like, what else can I do? I'm always thinking about other videos, of other shows. I've told you about like the football show I'm working on. Like I've put a lot of hours into making that work. For FIFA, I would love for the game to get better. Like I think I'm sticking around just like any of you guys are. Like you want the game to get better. How much more of this can you realistically take of playing a horrendous pile of garbage every single year? I love football. I love FIFA. I'm just hoping for the best, and like I've already dedicated so much time to it now that like I don't mind making the news. I enjoy it. It's kind of fun. So I'll stick around, and if I ever get tired of it, it's fine. I can quit. I have an engineering job. I'll be okay. But for now, it's kind of fun.
This is where you insert the GIF. The show goes on with like Leo DiCaprio, because you're
the show goes on. The show goes on.
I feel like Persian's like the halfway point between you and me, because you're now a straight up casual. I'm still grinding the game. Persian's not grinding the game, but he knows like everything I know as well without having to play it. So he's like, He's the mix. He's the perfect.
He's like George St. Pierre. He's retired, but I feel like he can come out at any point if I can. You know what I mean?
The thing is, you say that how much can we take, and you're kind of right, but you're kind of not, because like EA kind of has us by the balls, right? Because we love football, and that's the thing that keeps us sticking around. Like, I really want to stop playing this game. I don't want to play this game. It doesn't really like bring me any enjoyment, but it's kind of an addiction because there's nothing else left if you want a real football game, because PES isn't it. So the closest thing to football you can get is like FIFA, and that's really the problem here. But like, I kind of wanted to know like how, like, what were your biggest, like, what were your highest finishes? Because I want like the audience to know as well what kind of player you were, like back when you did play FIFA, or like when did you stop playing FIFA? A better question.
Yeah, so like it's been a progressive decline the past, I don't know, 3 years. So this year I've played like 60 games. I think the year before I played maybe 200. The year before that maybe 400, and then like we're in FIFA 17 now. I think I played like 800 games in 17, and I could finish elite with like freaking a Scottish Premier League or a Scottish team with Lee Griffiths. So like I was never playing the game to like truly be a competitor. I just played with different teams. I enjoyed playing weekend league with random squads, and I still have like old streams where I'm playing with literally a team of the season. I don't know, second EFL team, and I'm finishing like close to elite. So
that's way above average. Then, like, you're way above average. You'd say like back in the day, you definitely weren't a casual, because that almost comes close to hardcore, basically. Except you didn't play with meta players; you played with outside of the box players, I guess.
I always tell Stallion that my best finish ever in FIFA was I think in 16, when there was a special tournament only in North America. MLS set it up, and every single team was rated 86th or 86 players. So there was no discrepancy between the players, and I finished like, I don't know, top 200 in North America. So
damn, when
I was playing FIFA hardcore, that like, you know, the sky's the limit, right?
NA though.
No, but
yeah,
Nelly's downplaying himself because he didn't mention a couple. Well, now he mentioned the FIFA 16 thing, but you also didn't mention the fact that you hit Elite 1 in early FIFA 18 when you were playing. So you were at least an Elite 1 player without even really trying in FIFA 18. And then in FIFA 17, and we talk about this every now and then because we're like, yeah, this is not possible now. Nelly won the DKT with only a goalkeeper team. Like, everyone in the team was a keeper. And back when we had the DKT, Nelly played with that team. And it's like, we always talk about how if you tried that now, it's literally impossible.
Hashtag Harry, dude. Like, he was the NA hashtag Harry.
Should I re-upload that video and call it like a vintage upload when I'm too lazy? I might do that. That's not a bad
Why
option.
is it not online? That's the real question. What do you mean? You took it off?
It was a stream. It's a stream. I don't know.
Oh, dude, you need to upload that and turn it into like how the skill gap has gone in FIFA. This is not possible, or something like that. There's a possibility for some sort of content like that.
I'll give the footage to you. You analyze it. I don't know.
Let's go, dude. Give me that footage, baby.
You want it? Yeah. I don't want to freaking make that video. Nelly is doing way better.
Yeah.
So,
but I can give you that.
So, Nelly, what was your favorite FIFA and why?
I always hates me for saying this, but I say FIFA 17. Like, it was the perfect combination of it's a toss up. Like, 17 started getting like weekend league, right?
Wait, who said hates you for this?
You get upset when I say FIFA 17. Well, you used to, and then the last three FIFAs were really shit.
So. No. I used to get upset. Nelly and his goldfish memory, man. He used to get upset when you used to say 16. But if you say 17, yo, I'm okay. We Gucci.
My best accomplishment I would say is in 16, but then again, like I was pretty happy with 17, like the weekend league format, and yeah, the game had a ridiculous like connection issues, but not nearly as bad as what's going on today. But that was just the most fun. Weekend league was just a fun idea, and I was always playing with new teams, so that was I remember doing so many crazy things in 17.
Fair enough. And what? Okay, so you mentioned the foot champs, right? You like 17, whatever the gameplay, because there's some people who are literally out there playing devil's advocates, and I love the devil's advocates, of course, but. Because then what they do is like, listen, the only reason we don't like FIFA 20 more than 17, like me or Persian, is because it's 3 or 4 years now of the same concept. It's been 3 years of if FIFA 20 had been released instead of FIFA 17 and had been the first FIFA with FUT Champs, we would have loved FIFA 20 more. Like, that's the argument. As you in the position that you are now, not playing at all, what do you feel about that statement?
They're basically saying it's the mode that's kind of been like worn out.
It's like repetitive, and that's making us feel like the game is worse than it actually is, and making us reminisce about 17.
Oh, come on, boys. Like, COD's been out for 30 years, and like they've been doing the same thing in COD every single year for the past like decade, and people still play it every single day. The game sucks. Like, why the hell would I want to play the game if it sucks? It doesn't matter what the mode is. Like, I'm not drained by the mode. I'm drained by playing the game.
That's a very good point. That's a very good ridiculous point, because, like you said, COD does have the same formula basically, and they do it year after year.
Minor tweaks, minor.
Exactly. Well, the same with FIFA. To be fair, like they do minor tweaks as well, and they bring in new game modes like Volta, which no one plays. So, in that sense, like I guess you're right. Like it's definitely not just because we're tired of FUT Champs. It's because the game isn't good.
And just think about football in general. It's a football game, right? How much, variation and differences can you have year to year? Not many. With COD, you can do all kinds of stuff and make the gameplay different. But this is football. The game at a fundamental level needs to be good. And then like the modes are secondary. It doesn't really matter what them. If we had good, solid, consistent gameplay, I could play Division 1 all day. I used to play Division 1 in like FIFA 16 all day. So, and that was one of the most boring, mindless modes, kind of, if you really think about it.
Head-to-head Division 1. You don't even build towards a team, bro. It's clubs. Yes. I used to grind that in FIFA 10, and I was like, this is awesome.
The thing is, they can make it definitely. You're right, that as in the fundamentals need to be correct for the game to be enjoyable, but they've made it even less enjoyable by taking out the modes that were actually still fun, like divisions, like kind of open matchmaking. Obviously not total open matchmaking, but you could face different opponents more. And with Rivals as it is now and FUT Champs as it is now, like everything is skill based, everything is sweaty, everything has to be like, you had tournaments back in the days, you had all sorts of different game modes to like basically have some sort of variation in how you played, and they had restrictions with teams, and so you could try different things. But as it is now, it's all sweaty. Like you're always sweating out your games, and you're always stressed and whatever, So they can make it worse by taking out the fun game modes. But yeah, it's not what the game is about. You're right.
Why did they get rid of DKT? I don't understand. DKT was such a fun mode.
Or just normal tournaments. Like normal tournaments were fine. Like it doesn't even have to be a DKT. Just a normal 4-game tournament with like a reward at the end is fun. It's just fun. Like
the real problem is, like, us as FIFA players, we see the potential. Like, we see how easily you can be creative with these like formats. You could have like a head-to-head draft where, let's say, I don't know, I pick one player, he picks one player, and then we make teams that are kind of balanced and play against each other. There's so many cool ideas in like fantasy football and all that stuff, and EA seems to have zero creativity with its game modes.
Yeah,
I mean,
go for it.
The cynic in me is like thinking, why do they want to make everything sweaty? And then you come up with the conspiracy theories that they want to get people to buy packs, and like, how do you get people to buy packs, et cetera, right? So like that vicious cycle kind of works for their business model, right? And that's what like kind of worries me, because they take out all the fun things in the game and they bring out all these extremely sweaty things, which even the really good players don't want to play. The people that play 95% of their games still don't want to play those modes because it's not bringing them any fun anymore. Because like having to stress out every game or like sweat out every game isn't fun. Like
it's
that's
awful,
the sad
man.
part.
Yeah. And we experience it. I play tons of Apex with Persian, and like when we get into now Apex has Persian told me this little bit of a skill-based matchmaking issue, and obviously it doesn't make me want to play because I'm 100%. If I'm a hardcore as hell in FIFA, I'm 100% a casual at Apex, so I don't want to play that. But it's a tough balance, and they're both super important. And my problem with this discussion is a lot of the times I see a lot of people just say, just give me a DKT back and I'm happy. And we should get DKT back because it's 2020 almost, and we still talk about Nelly's legendary goalkeeper win in the DKT. So like we need it back. But at the same time, while sweaty modes like Rivals and FUT Champs only would have made even the best Frostbite FIFA 10 times worse in FIFA 17, the best modes will still not fix FIFA 20 or 19. Like I'm still not playing DKT if it's FIFA 19. Maybe I would because I'm streaming and stuff, but like if I wasn't streaming, I still wouldn't play. So it's like, because you never know who's listening. I would still always put the main focus slightly on gameplay, but with the acknowledgement, of course, that even if the gameplay was good, if all I have to play is Rivals, I just want to claw my eyes out, especially because rewards are actual garbage. Now, mine have been really bad this year, but one thing you guys have in common that you might not know is that you both have some of the worst pack luck that I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my god,
Nelly, I don't know. It's an obvious answer. Maybe you have something funny to say about it. Like, what are your thoughts on rewards, progression system, and the fact, because I have met people who genuinely believe not everyone should be entitled to build to up or should have an R9, right? So what are your thoughts on that?
Man, progression system is a tricky thing, but I feel like most games do a pretty good job of, rewarding you for your time, whereas FIFA has literally built a system where they want you to spend as much money as possible, which always gives you this weird feeling like, okay, bro, like, you know how much I'm playing, so you're obviously reducing my pack luck or something's going on here. But these rewards that they currently have set up, the objectives, like, that's a good start, but some of the like requirements are just ridiculous. Like, I'm not playing this game with a Serie A team to win a guy from like a farmer team. Like, I don't care. So I think EA's reward system right now is horrendous. There should be like guaranteed rewards instead of everything being based on luck. And to a certain extent, you can say, well, you get certain coins, you get better packs, but like, that's not good enough. That's not good enough, man. With how horrendous the game is, I need a better reward system. If you're going to try to fix something, do that. You can do that. You don't need servers to fix rewards.
You absolutely hit the nail on the head. Yeah, I completely agree with that. The thing is, like you said, they don't reward time. Like, the time you spent is not rewarded. Like, for example, not even just the time. Like, I thought it was ridiculous that they have this base icon pack, right? So people have to spend like 500 to 600K to do a base icon pack, and it's untradeable. First of all, the fact that it's untradeable is already like kind of iffy, but okay, fair enough. But even though it's untradeable, they still make it that you can pack a duplicate. So you basically, let's say you have an untradeable Guardiola, you can still pack that player. Like, why can't they just program it that you can't pack those duplicates, or at least not when you already have the player untradeable, right? So people spend 500, 600K and then basically for nothing because they have to discard the player. So all these like little things just agitate me so much that I think like these are simple things you can fix. Like, Apex is an EA game. You can buy packs in that game too. But if you buy packs in that game, every 10 packs or something, they give you a gold, basically. Like, that's the highest tier of loot you can get, right? And you can't pack duplicates in that game. They won't give you duplicates. So even though that's an EA published game, it has a way more fair system with microtransactions. And I don't get why they don't do that in FIFA. Well, I get it because they want to make money and people will still buy the packs, but it's just so unfair, man. Like,
but isn't a different studio making that game? It's just published for EA, right?
EA publishes that game. It's a different studio making it, but EA, I think EA has a lot to say about like how microtransactions work in that game. So
yeah, the moment EA takes full control, it's pretty much game over. Like, I mean, you look at when EA just buys out a game. What's the Star Wars game that's out right now? What's that called again? The Jedi one?
Yeah,
that looks impressive. Like, that looks so good. And it's just a story-based game. There's nothing in it. You literally can't spend any money if you wanted to. So, and everyone loves it. It's like doing really well and selling really well. And EA's like, yeah, that's cool and all, but we'll just keep doing this archaic style of like just draining every penny out of the customer. Because I mean, why wouldn't you? You're making $1 billion a year. Like, from their perspective, why would you stop? You've made probably more this year than the last 3. So, it is what it is.
The sad part is, go ahead. All
right, FIFA's just in a really bad spot because we're not only the game that makes them the most money, but we're also the gamers that I don't think there's among EA games, like, we're gamers that are so loyal to FIFA because of lack of alternatives. And I feel like, it could be wrong, but I feel like a lot of football gamers, FIFA gamers only play FIFA, as I have had for so many years of my life. Like a lot of these gamers are like the FIFA players are a completely different demographic. Like you're almost dipping your toes in just sports fans at that point, not even like gamers.
Yeah,
so it's like it's such a weird demographic. Like they're gonna buy the game regardless. And so it's like these guys won't band together the same way the Star Wars guys did when they were angry that they needed 40 hours of game time. By the way, if I needed 40 hours to grind for R9, I'd be like, let's go. And these guys are angry that they need 40 hours for Darth Vader, man. Like I took, like, to put it in perspective, 2 months. So we had 7 FUT Champions Leagues for champions, and then like 2 extra weeks before that, before FUT Champ started, of like just rivals grinding. So imagine all the untradeable packs that I took, all the packs that I took, all the SBCs and marquee matchups that I did, every FUT Champs played, all the reds that I took. And because of that, I was able to do the Icon SBC with only spending 50k liquid, and obviously discarding my club's untradeable. So it was always worth it, because at the end of the day, they're not going to release a good SBC because they're all Chinese league SBCs. So I'm not going to fit those in my team. And I got screwed, obviously, because like we said, the way the Icon SBC works, it's dead. It should have been a player pick. You know, maybe it's hard to code. I don't know. But they took their time to code these weird objectives where you have to score 6 goals using a player who has 1 green eye and 1 red eye, and he plays for Germany or something. But they can't code a player pick for a good value icon pick. Like, I don't understand. Like, I have to literally jump through hoops to get these tokens in division rivals with players with all these weird random specifics, but you can't code an icon pack with valuable, like literally an icon pack that would be like, it's 600k, but I'm guaranteed a midfielder, but I'm guaranteed a striker, a central player, I'm guaranteed,
or just at least a couple choices, like a player pick, like 3 choices. Yeah. Like you can at least pick your player. Like,
I guess we have to think about what their actual goal is, right? In the long run, they want you to be on this game as long as possible. So that means they control the progression system. They don't want you to have a good team by like November. Why would they want that? It means you're not going to come back once you've like maxed out your squad. They want to take a grindful approach to you getting like good players. So you're sticking around till it's like August and you're still playing this miserable existence of a game.
This is their fault, though. It's their fault in the end of the day, because like you can't not expect extreme like anger. But like obviously I would never condone the threatening people and like that stuff, but like just genuine anger and just saying this game sucks and this blah blah blah. When you mix a casual who might be like, yeah, I'm totally down to build my ultimate team from September to August, but then you put the same dude like me who only cares about packs up until the competitive season is over. If I pack red Mbappe in June, I couldn't care less. He does me nothing. I need him for qualifiers. You have like everyone in the same mode. So when you're going to do that, expect repercussions for when you try to do a one-size-fits-all progression system. It just won't work.
You know what I said in my FIFA 20 review before it even started? I said, like, it doesn't matter what this game is. EA has already done enough to the average customer that you should not be buying or even looking at this game just based on the last 2 years. If they came out with FIFA 20 and it was the best game ever, you have like an arsenal of different EA things like they've done, from like, you know, leaking people's personal information to like gross microtransactions to potentially, you know, making the game like surprise mechanics, all that stuff. Like they've committed enough crime to be in jail for like 100 years. You don't need any reasons for FIFA 20 to not play it. You have plenty of weapons. They've disrespected the average customer and spit in their face so many times at this point. Like, you should be like almost asking yourself, you are still playing this game? Why? Why have I chosen to take this path in life?
The thing, it's Savage Prime in the chat reminded me of it, because I kind of wanted to ask you about that as well, because I saw you tweet about it and I was looking into it kind of. The post on Twitter where they're giving FIFA 20 away to people that played FIFA 19 but didn't buy it again. Like, obviously those, I'm guessing anyway, that because I think I saw a post, someone saying like, just as I'm out, they claw me back in or something. So it's kind of like people that thought FIFA 19 was such a bad game, but obviously spent money on the game, that quit, and they get the game for free. And like, there's like something, I don't know. Obviously they give the game away for free, so you're kind of thinking that's kind of generous, right? But it just kind of feels like shady, you know, like, well,
it's like a casino giving you a free night at the hotel,
exactly,
you know?
exactly. It just seems really weird. Like, it gives me a weird feeling because who are these people that they're giving the game for free to? Like, have they announced like why they're giving it to you for free? Like, it's kind of
points last year. Like, wait,
yeah, probably. Like, but it's hard. Like, we can't prove that, but like, end of the day, like, it's like, I don't know, man. It gives me a weird feeling because like other people have paid for the game, so why are they getting it for free, right?
By the way, PES did a similar thing where they dropped the game by like 50% in the first month.
Yeah, but that's because the game just doesn't sell.
Well, I don't know if they do that every month, though. That's the thing. I think they just did it this time, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, they go so far as to, I don't know if they do it this year, but I know last year, maybe even the year before, you can literally play My Club for free. So it's literally like not even bothering paying for FIFA because you know you're going to get Ultimate Team for free, which if that was the case, I would do. I'm never on anything else. So that's literally as far as they go to make it like, at least after a certain point, they just do it for free. I remember because I was trying PES 19 last year.
The difference is though, when they put 50% off the game, it's for everyone, right? So everyone gets to have that. But like now they're giving it for free to certain people. And that's kind of weird because like, that's when you're thinking like, what's going on here? But hey, it is what it is. We're used to these things.
That's why, like I said, like EA has done enough things for you to never touch their game again. You know, like you have enough evidence. You don't need any more.
It's true. It's harsh, but like, I mean, that's just putting it politely because you're not really attacking. It's just the simple truth of how at least the hardcore players have felt in the past couple of years.
The thing is, you say that, right? But like, who's to blame? Because we say EA, right? Like, who's to blame here? Because I don't necessarily blame the people that are doing their jobs, basically, like you and me. They're just getting their orders and they're just doing their job. So it's not necessarily just the devs. It's like, because they get like a frame basically in which they have to work. Like, they're getting like, this is what you can do. This is the budget you get. These are the amount of hours you can spend on it. So where's the blame here? Is it just the higher ups? Like, is it the decision making from the devs? Is it like, who's like, where are we supposed to look?
No, here's the real problem. Nobody takes the blame. Nobody. Never. Who comes out from EA and says, listen, guys, we really messed up this year. The servers are horrendous. We're gonna do everything all over. No one, every single year. The community managers don't take the blame, and they shouldn't take the blame. They're not responsible. But once again, who takes it? Like, I don't ever get anyone to point at and say, hey, why is the game unplayable 1 month into its cycle? Why is like the reward system set up like this? No one ever takes any responsibility from EA, and no one wants to.
Yeah, you're kind of right. But I guess that's kind of a financial thing as well, because if they come out and basically say we're doing bad, like, I guess that has influence on their stocks as well, and like how that all works. So I don't think they'll be inclined to do things like that as fast, you know.
Yeah, does anyone else do it?
Do they?
Like any other company, they come out and say, "Hey, we messed up some I don't know update." Like, I think, doesn't Fortnite do that when they mess up, I don't know, some sort of balance? They just come out and say like, "Yeah, we tried the mech and it didn't work. We're sorry. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna put it back." Or no.
I guess, yeah, they can. No, you're right. They can do it in that sense, but the problem is they need to be able to fix it to be able to say
yes.
to be able to say that.
Yes.
And that's the biggest problem, because we're not sure if they can fix it, or maybe they can, but like the money that is available for it isn't there. Because like we can say like buy new servers, but I'm not sure if they get enough money to be able to. Well, they get enough money, but like, is EA allocating that money for FIFA? Right, that's the real question. Because they get plenty of money. But yeah, I don't know, man.
I just don't think they're competent anymore, and they haven't been in a very long time. It's like, you get hired for an engineering job that requires 10 years of experience, and you have 1 year, and then you get there and you realize, oh, okay, I'm not fit for this job. I can't do this. I think EA has literally reached that point where they don't understand how to make a proper football simulator anymore. And I think it stems from like the top, and it just trickles all the way down to different organizations, from whoever the developers are, whoever the server team is, whoever the communication team is. It's just like one big mess, and trying to find where to pinpoint something is impossible.
I mean, you say that, right? And that's the thing. Like, we're going to talk about the patch in like a sec. So I had an interesting discussion with Stallion yesterday, like outside in the party. We were talking about like player switching, and my view on player switching was, well, it's obviously still broken. Like player switching is inherently broken in this game, but I was saying, why did they change player switching from 17, where it worked in my opinion anyway, where it worked, to how we are now? They obviously know how 17 worked. They can look back at, like, I don't know how coding works obviously enough, but like in my simple mind, I'm thinking this, right? If they knew how it worked in 17, how can't they just replicate what they did there in this game? And then Stallion made a point, and I tried it out. He said in kickoff, when you play offline, player switching works. And to an extent, he was right. It wasn't as broken as it was online, where you couldn't switch like half the time. And it kind of works. So he was thinking, well, maybe it's a server related issue, right? So it's not necessarily the mechanics, but it's the servers that make you, make the whole player switching thing faulty. And I was thinking, well, FIFA 17 had shitty servers, but it still works. So we're just trying to, we're brainstorming here, like, what's the issue? And they won't ever come out and say what the problem is, right? Because they keep saying I'm not sure if they have ever even said they're going to change player switching. Did they say anything about in this patch time? Do you know?
There was one thing about player switching, but it wasn't like people were like, oh my god, finally they're fixing player switching. But it was one of those patch notes where it's like you didn't really read properly. It's just there was a bug in player switching in a very specific situation. They're not like the issue that everyone is experiencing with player switching is just the fact that online gameplay is disgraceful, and so like you're not gonna player switch regardless of what they patch until they fix connectivity for that. But this one's an interesting one because for me it's one of the only ones which maybe not fully but to a decent degree they can chalk up to connectivity, but I don't think they would ever like publicly, say our servers are shit. But that's one of the things like tackling and near post shooting. That has nothing to do with servers. I said that offline in kickoff when I played the game in LA with 0 delay offline. So I mean that's cannot be excused by servers, but this one definitely can.
I saw someone saying it's shitty in Squad Battles too, but Squad Battles is on servers.
It's on servers.
FYI.
Good luck when you play Legendary and it's delayed, bro. It's the worst experience of my life.
Yeah, you want to get into the patch then? Because you played a massive amount of games on this recent patch. So what are your thoughts, Ty?
Sure. Before we get into that, I know Nelly played a game and because he messaged me. So tell us that story, Nelly, because this is a very good one.
What are you talking about? I played. I didn't play a game. I played 45 minutes and then I quit. It just wasn't fun, man. I was just bored. It was painfully boring.
What mode did you play?
Rivals, and I think I'm in like Division 4 or 5. So like. And I'm playing with my Serbian team. So there's a lot of factors weighing into it as to why I didn't have fun. And I'm aware of that. But like, I just didn't care enough to like try to fix any of those factors. So I just, instead of actually playing it through, I just turned off the game.
Fair enough.
Wise decision.
It's funny how it went full circle. Nelly got bored after 45 minutes. You get the game of FIFA. I played it. I played a fair amount. And here's the thing. The first thing they changed, there's two things they changed, passing and shooting. Let's talk about shooting first. They made shooting better from closer, which sounds great, correct? Yes, cool. There's a problem. You're making shooting from closer better in a game where shooting near post is better than far post. Near post shouldn't be better than far post. Near post shouldn't be as good as far post. Near post should be significantly worse than far post, subject to certain situations, of course. Of course. But in general, that's just how it works. I made a video as to explaining why, because if you don't allow for that to happen, you allow the attacker to go on a low risk, low reward position and turn that into a low risk, high reward for no reason. So you've just amplified what was already extremely broken. So that's great. Great there. Second of all, the passing. Actually, no. What are your thoughts on the shooting then, you guys? Let's start with Persian then, and then we'll go to passing.
I mean, I agree with it. Like, the best example I can give you in which they haven't fixed it enough. I saw you DM me that Twitter clip of Kurt, right? Where he basically does a cutback, and he's right in front of the net. All he has to do is tap it in, and then he shoots that wide, even though that 10 out of 10, that has to be a goal.
Oh, I saw that clip. Yeah, he should have gone near post on that one.
Yeah, exactly. The funny thing is, you say that, right? But we saw someone comment that, like, maybe he should have shot near post, even though the goalkeeper was right there. Like, the logic of the FIFA player is this: don't shoot at the open net, shoot at the near post where the goalkeeper's standing. Like,
I have a bit of a detour from that, if I may, just for a moment. I remember at the beginning, I was like, I don't know, right before FIFA was coming, I was posting random clips, and I was like, man, this makes no sense. Like, why is this shot not going in? Like, I'm 2 feet away with Tadic shooting near post. Like, why is this not going in? And then we have these special snowflakes, like, trying to tell me, bro, you should be shooting far post this time. Like, do you see how the ball is coming? It took a bounce. That's why I missed. I'm like, dude, everyone has their own little theory, and they all just want to be like special little snowflakes. But it doesn't matter from that range. It's a video game. That shot goes in like 9 out of 10 times. Even when it goes like in real life, if you watch like football, if you're trying to make a simulation, that shot goes in like 95% of the time, and the goalie might even touch the ball, and it might ricochet. It might go through his legs, but I want that to go in. I don't give a shit how it goes in, to be honest. Yeah. There's no reality where that Kurt is missing that shot. Like, it makes no sense.
Absolutely. Like, that's the thing. I don't understand people that defend the whole, like, oh, it has to be like, it's because of the bounce or whatever. Like, it's irrelevant. If you break up like someone's defense, especially in this game where everyone's just parking the bus, everyone's like 2 lines of 4 or 5 players like right in the box, and you break them down and you do a cutback and you're straight in front of the net, that ball should go in. I don't care if it's bouncing or doing whatever you think it is. It has to go in. And that's the thing. What's interesting, like, they say they fix finishing and stuff like this, and then that happens. Like, I don't know, man. Obviously it's anecdotal, and it's like not evidence that most of the time it's going to go in. But like you said, man, I agree. First post should never be a thing. Like,
here's the toxic Stallion coming out, because I am convinced that the same people who are like, but the bounce and maybe this and that are the same people who are that critical in that situation. But as soon as I bring up goalkeeper movement, then then they're like for it. You know, how can you defend finishing being like that, but then you also advocate for like literally a mechanic that says, oh, did you just get cut open? Here, move your keeper. Who move your keeper? And even worse, they're gonna be that critical of that shot choice, but then as soon as I'm like, this pass was assisted, then they're like, no, you're nitpicking this. But now it's nitpicking, right? You pass into a blocked, like, I don't even know what to say, like a blocked lane. Crowd and a blocked lane, and it goes through my legs, it gets assisted, your player was running left, but the game's like, oh no, you passed right here. Here's your player getting moved right again now. And that's not nitpicking, but you're nitpicking on the easy, on where the hard, like literally the skill gap is getting the player in that position, and then you start nitpicking. It's so backwards, bro. It's so backwards. And I've seen so many of those people in my streams, and it's mind blowing, bro. It's mind blowing.
There's trolls as well. The people that just go into like, they just try to like say the opposite thing, whatever you say, basically, right?
They might not even mean it, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Know a lot about these
trolls. Playing devil's advocate constantly. Yeah. So yeah, that's finishing for you. What was the next thing? Oh, you want to talk about passing. Go ahead.
Passing. Look, passing, man. Passing sucks because it has always sucked since for a while now. But this year it got a lot better in the sense that there were a lot more interceptions. And the patch explicitly says that the only change to passing done is that they made passes that should be working easier. And on paper, yeah, sure, that sounds great, but that's just, we all know how FIFA works with a patch. You change one thing, there's a domino effect, 700 other billion things change. And even though maybe with the right intentions, they fixed passing, whether it's because the passes that were getting intercepted and shouldn't were kind of like, I guess, compensation for all the other nutmegs that are still happening, or maybe there's more nutmegs now, whatever you want to call it. Now we're just back to FIFA 18 Ping Pong Nation, and it just plays into the meta of possession hoarding. It plays into the meta of just boring your opponent to death, and it sucks, man. It's just horrible. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. I see people like even after this patch, I don't know what they expected to happen. Like, they probably expected to have a different game or more fun game, but people keep referring back to FIFA 19. FIFA 19 was way more fun, blah blah blah, a better game than this. But it was obviously not a better game than this. But the whole problem is this game. I was saying this yesterday that this game is like the most boring game of FIFA I've ever played. Like it's so boring, and that doesn't make it worse than 19, but it's definitely it's so uneventful because like all you have to do is just hold. Everyone does the same thing. Like there's no variation in any gameplay. If you get into Division 1, everyone's going to hold the ball. Simple as that. And one team is holding the ball, the other team is defending, and it's constantly that. Like it's always just passing the ball around. And if you score a goal, you're just going to hoard the ball until someone pulls their defender out, and then you're going to utilize the spaces. No one actually plays attacking football in this game because it's just not built for it. Like the attacking AI is so bad, and there's so little space that you just get into the same patterns every time, and everyone just falls asleep playing this game basically.
No, the other thing. Sorry, a little bit slightly off topic with the patch stuff. Like I used to actually read the patch notes in the news videos, and honestly, like after a little bit, I just gave up. There's no point. First of all, no one cares. Not a single soul cares about patch notes, because they know either one of two things is going to happen. One, a bunch of that stuff is like dirty lies because some of the stuff literally doesn't get like. They've specifically had times where they've said something gets patched, and then you go into the game, and you're like, wait a minute. This didn't get patched. Like, how can you think you're getting away with telling me a lie? Like, that's the biggest problem. And then the other thing is like when they like Stallion was saying, like when they fix one thing, 3 new problems pop up. So like no one cares about the patch notes, and I've stopped reading them in general.
That's a problem with coding though, because I had someone that was a dev talk to me about this, and he basically said that that's the whole issue when it comes to coding. Like it's basically you fix one thing and you break another thing while doing it. That makes it so complex, and that's why like the whole coding aspect of it, you need like really good coders to be able to code a game like this basically. Right. So you're absolutely right when it comes to that. And the thing is, like when you say that just comes down to testers as well. I don't know who tests this game, like what kind of team they have, because you're right when you say they say certain things, like they've basically I think it was last year, right, Stallion, when they say they fixed like outside finesse shots and stuff like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It still happen. You could still do it. And even after a day, like there were plenty of players that were like, oh, this still works. Oh, this still works. Like if it only takes most players, like most competitive players, a day to figure that out, like who's testing the game there? Like when you issue a patch, there's obviously people there that you basically hired to test your game, right? So like where's it going wrong? Like I don't understand like what they're doing.
But they do test the game. They just don't take the feedback. I mean, we don't know. Like I said, it's a whole mess. Exactly. We'll never know, right?
Yeah.
Well, one aspect is like near post finishing. I told YouTube about it. I told Twitter about it. I told Twitch about it. I was there in June. I told them about it. I wish I could have had a lot more time. Like, I'm going to be honest. I really wish I had a lot. I barely had a chance to speak my mind as much as I wanted to. But with the time I did, I was like, what's the one thing I really need to say right now? And I was like, guys, near post finishing, I said it there. I was allowed to tweet that I said it. I'm allowed to say it. And, you know, nothing changed. If anything, maybe it got even better. Like, I don't even know. So it's like, is it a matter of it's just a disagreement? I have my opinion that near post is broken. They're like, okay, we acknowledge the feedback, but we think it's fine for the game. We're going to keep it. Is it a matter of fact that's like, oh no, it's just one of them things that, okay, roll on 21. We'll fix that for that one. I don't know. I just don't know. All I know is that near post finishing was an issue well known when people were still playing for Team of the Season cards in FIFA 19. And, you know, I'm here, man. If they want to test the game, I'm here.
That's really, but that's really the sad part. You have people like you that literally gave them feedback for free. You didn't even charge them. You were there. You were like, okay, listen, these are the issues, and I can back my statements up with evidence, right? And they still like don't listen. They don't want to hear it, and like it just makes me sad, man. Like, why aren't you listening to people in your community that obviously are knowledgeable about the game? They back up everything they say with facts. So like, I don't understand why you won't listen to that, other than you might have different intentions or different like motives to do something else. Like, I don't understand.
It's a mess. There's too many people with too many different opinions, and
true.
The harsh reality is like sometimes you just got to take the ship. I mean, like you got to have one guy that's going to be like the voice in the locker room or whatever. Have someone that's a leader and says, yeah, okay, this is what we did. This is why we did it. We're going to run it like this for a while, and let's hope it works out. But it's just a mess because they start changing things day one, right? So
you say that though, right? You say there's a lot of different opinions, but I think there's a significant difference in having an opinion and being able to back up your opinion, right?
Sure.
Because I was in someone's stream, like a pro player stream, like 2 days ago, I think. And I was having a discussion with him.
Name and shame. No, I'm kidding.
Nah.
Put him out, baby. Who is it?
Nelly wants it. He needs a new.
I need it. I got my pen right here.
Listen. I was in this guy's stream and I was like, okay, so like he was talking about his favorite FIFAs and stuff. And so he was saying, I don't like this FIFA. I didn't like FIFA 19. But he said, I like FIFA 18. And I was like, okay, so but FIFA 18 had the most assisted passing. I could see how he thought it was more fun, but you can't say FIFA 18 was a good game. So I was like, okay, why do you think it's a good game? Or why did you think it was like, why is it your favorite FIFA? And he's like, I don't know. It's just my favorite FIFA. I just thought it was good. Okay. Now, he's a pro player, and he's obviously knowledgeable about the game, but his opinion came down to, I don't know why, I just liked it, you know? Like, that's the difference between, like, for example, Stallion, like, that backs up his videos, or why something is bad, why something is good, why something should be in the game, why something shouldn't be in the game, as opposed to, I just think it's good, this is the way it's supposed to be, without any backing it up. That's kind of
like, how many of those guys are there though? There's a lot of those guys that say this is a problem and like they have a big voice in the community, but they never bring any facts to the table. And this is why I always rated Stallion's videos, because he literally breaks down like frame by frame what's wrong, and most of the time, like I agree with him. Because exactly. I have nothing to disagree. He's literally providing me with facts. Like, I'm not trying to boost Stallion too hard, but when someone else says,
keep going, don't stop.
I'm a fact-based man, so like I need some facts. When you tell me something is wrong, okay, cool. Like you're just saying that, but provide me proof, and then we'll go from there.
The thing is, I disagree with Stallion plenty. We have heated debates all the time, but I can respect his opinion just because at least he's like basing it off like something he sees, right? And he's providing me with what he sees. We don't have to agree on that necessarily always, but I respect that over someone that just says like, I like this, whatever, you know, like without saying anything, just because he likes it, it should be in the game. Well, that's not how it works.
Let's fire some shots. Who's doing that? Who wants to fire some shots? Who's like, oh my God.
If you want to fire shots, that's most of the community, man. Like that's honestly most of the community. That's like 90%.
Just pick a name out of anyone.
Yeah. Take a name out of anyone. Just put that in.
It's just like, that's what killed me the most this summer, because I mentioned near post, but like, that's the tip of the iceberg, man. When we get into the nitty gritty of the game, I'm going to start talking about defensive AI, them dropping back and show them like offensive AI and why they should be better than this. And like, so like, it sucks that like, even if they would have listened to the near post, like this game is done for still, because there's so many other issues. I had so much to say. I still have so much to say, but I just don't have the opportunities. But it doesn't matter. Does it matter that I have the opportunities? Because, you know, I said something and nothing mattered. So it's like, whatever. So maybe it doesn't even matter to have the opportunity. But yeah, I enjoyed being buttered up. Thank you. Thank you, boys. Nice.
No problem.
What else was there really about that? The interesting part was I went on because I didn't have the time to play when the patch came out. So I was at work and I just skimmed through some streams and looked at how different players, because I saw Kurt like was raging basically at the stream, and I felt like it wasn't necessarily that he was playing, or he thought the patch did this, but I think he was just playing in terrible gameplay. And that kind of skewed his opinion, because I was going to different streams, different pro players, and a couple of them I really respect, and as in they're like calm players, they know what they're saying. And basically they were saying like nothing changed for me. He basically said the only thing they really changed was like the penalties, basically, what they don't like do the head movement thing, which is a really good thing. Should have never been in the game, but at least they took that out. But yeah, I don't know. Like I haven't played it enough to really formulate an opinion on it, so I don't know. I'll stick with what Stallion says here.
All right. Well, I know. Usually we do like we read questions after it, but I know Nelly has hot yoga, so I don't know. What's it look like?
Yeah, you have 15 minutes to ask me.
15 minutes.
Then I must go to hot yoga. My namaste is waiting for me.
All right, boys. If you guys have questions, let's get going, because this is when we read the questions. Nelly has hot yoga to attend to, so this is your.
K Dizza said,
chance.
Hey guys, I appreciate the conversation, but this is my question. In order to create change in a broken game, wouldn't the players have to not participate in Black Friday, card buying, and other major promos? Why can't the community come together on this fact? EA can't hurt unless we Unless we stop investing in packs, right? I don't expect game changers to buy in, but it's more guys with YouTube followers than game changers, right? Thanks, guys. I mean, I don't think any of us disagrees, but that's not something you can just. That's never going to happen. Basically, it's like an idea. Yeah, go ahead, Nelly.
Yeah, the big problem is it's just too big to fail. The way I relate it to is like I don't know if you ever watched this. Is like this like not to get too political, but there's like a Trump documentary about one of like the hotels or towers he was building, and he basically like this whole documentary, like all this stuff is like going really bad, and he's owing a lot of money, and like you're like, oh my god, how is this gonna end? Like he's got to go to jail, right? Nope, he just like owed a lot of money, and everyone forgot about it, or like there was a write off or whatever. So that's kind of where FIFA's at, where like you can't. It's such a big monster that you don't even know how to take it down. The only thing you do, which is what I've tried to do, at least from my end, and so I can sleep comfortably at night, I made a review on FIFA 20 like the day it came out, and I literally said, do not buy this game. And to me, like, I think I've done my good deed for the year. 13,000 people saw that video. If 1% of them didn't buy it, I've done more for this community than 95% of the people in it. So do your part. If you really like, if you're a casual, you honestly have zero reason to be playing this game. Stallion is trying to grind to be a pro. I'm still making content. Like, there's reasons to stick around, but for the casual, there's none. There really isn't. You just have to say, like, why am I playing this? I'll stop and hope for it to get better when EA stops making money.
I guess so. Do you, John Baton said, do you guys think it's a coincidence that players from Madden and MB2K have the same issues as FIFA players?
I think sports games are tough in general, in terms of
so funny,
and, like being happy.
Yeah, it's so funny reading comments on like other Twitter pages with Madden and 2K. It's literally like reading like it's like you're looking at another universe, but it's just guys that are playing 2K. It's like is there a Nelly in the other universe that's doing the same thing?
Yeah, I'm looking for like Italian Stallion or some shit playing NBA 2K. Like, where is he? Where is this guy?
Zonda said, why do you think the fixed FIFA movement failed, and if it's possible to have similar movement moving forward? Well, it's pretty much the same thing the previous guy said. Like, the problem here is we can't even agree on simple gameplay things, let alone have a agreement on like not buying packs. Because as soon as like, let's say 50% of the community agrees on not buying packs, the other 50% is going like, but I have all this money, I want to spend it like the way I want it. And they'll be like, well, if you don't spend on packs, if I spend on packs, I'm going to have more of an advantage playing this game. So there's never going to be an agreement. Like, it's just never going to happen. Like, it's something a lot of people want, but yeah, it's just not. Like, the promo packs on Black Friday are going to sell out within 10 minutes yet again, even though this game's ass. So it's just not happening, man.
It's just such a big crisis. It's like trying to solve like, I don't know, pollution or like getting rid of plastic in the ocean. Like, it's such a massive problem, man.
Yeah. You just don't know where to start, man.
I don't know where to start with this thing. Yeah.
Joey, thank you so much.
I've always said the only
host, my guy.
I said like the only way to bring EA down is like some massive conspiracy came out, like they have like an underground like sex trafficking or something like that. We can all be like, okay, that's too far. We're done with this game, right?
The sad part is every pack you buy is basically further solidifying that they won't fix the game, you know? Like, that's the sad 100%. Part of it.
That is the cold reality, yeah.
I mean, even gameplay wise, we're in an era where at the end of the day, boys, there were players who love FIFA 19 at a competitive level. So what do you all be like? How do you band together when there's that where you can't even like be 100% to 0 on that game, you know? Like, we literally have players to this day who are like thinking, yo, 19 was better than 20. It's like, it's irrelevant. It's a dead conversation.
We always talk about this, Stallion. It's like, who cares? It's like the comparing two different types of like shit. Like, which one smells worse? Who cares? You know?
Don't make me pull out my analogy of picking up my dog's diarrhea versus my dog's solid shit. They're both shit.
Yikes, man.
That's a good analogy. I like that. Stallion, all right, I have a question for you. What's next for you and YouTube and your pro career and whatnot?
Well, we already know we're making content for the guide. We're streaming. We're doing our own YouTube. So, ask me again in March, then we'll decide again. That's when.
How you feel? Do you feel fatigued? Do you feel worn out? Let's have a little therapy session.
I think I had a red flags yesterday when I was looking at my match earnings, and I have more than Fredo, friend of the stream, and when I know I'm played more than Fred, I'm like, okay, no, we need to stop here, boys. Like, this is not okay, dude.
Oh my god.
So it's like I need to play a lot less and figure out from there, but it's tough to do that. So we'll see, man. I could see myself playing. Actually, I don't know yet. I say that. I was gonna say I can see myself playing a bit longer than 19, but then I don't know how the game's gonna play when everyone's running out with Team of the Year Messi. So yeah, I probably won't be able to play as much as I did in FIFA 19. So June's gonna be rough, man. I think once we get to June, it's gonna be dangerous territory.
Are you worried about burnout at all?
I am burnt out. I'm not worried about it. I am burnt out.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's good. Right.
Burnt out a month and a half ago. He's still going.
It's been like 2 months of FIFA. It feels like I've been here for 2 years, man. Literally it feels like, yeah, I don't even know. I can't believe it's not even January yet, dude. Honestly, we'll see. Because you already know the patches won't do anything. They can't change the things that I want to be changed until the next game. And then the next game comes and like one of 13 things that I want change will change. So it's like, rip.
There's those memes where it's like an engineer at 25 and it's clearly like some 50-year-old dude. That's going to be you. Stallion at 25 playing FIFA. It's going to be like a 65-year-old man with crutches.
You have no idea, man. Stallion will come into the party like on a day and be like, I hate every formation in this game.
Meltdown Stallion is my favorite Stallion. Meltdown Stallion is the best.
He'll be like, Persian, what formation should I play? He'll just have a different crisis every day. It's like,
bro, the camera angles.
Exactly. The camera. I think I'm going back to classic.
Yeah.
I'll be like, Fredo, do you have analog sprint on or off? I need something to change.
Bro, I'm averaging 16% more wins, but 4% more losses when I change the camera this angling. He's got the analytics. He's got like every single goal. Bro, I'm attacking from the wing about 54% of the time, but I just can't finish 36%. Like, bro, relax.
I'm done, man.
Dude, that was good.
I think that was a good one to finish it on, man.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna end it here, folks. If you want to follow me or Persian, links are on the screen. You can follow Nelly pretty much everywhere. He's NellyGotBored. Just Google that. You will find all his work. Nelly, thank you for coming, man. Maybe one day we have a round 2.
It's a pleasure. Honestly, it was a lot of fun.
Right.
Also, don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to comment, and we might take it into the next episode if it's interesting or funny, or maybe you have a good idea or something. So.
Yeah, shout out Persian. He's been telling me to say that for 3 weeks, so he took it upon himself.
He almost forgot, dude. He almost forgot.
All right, peace.